We should not be afraid of bad things happening to us in our career as engineers. And in this week's Engineering Management Lessons video, I have with me Stu Walesh. Stu has been a successful engineer. He's also a successful author. He's authored the book, An Introduction to Creativity and Innovation for Engineers. And Stu, you're going to tell us about a time in your career where something really bad happened, but it turned into one of the best things that's ever happened to you. Can you share that with us?
I was in my early 40s. I was a technical expert. I was a technical expert in an engineering firm, and I had just been offered an ownership opportunity. How could anything be better than those things? However, I was also growing tired of doing mostly technical work, which I had now done about 20 years, some very sophisticated things in the water resources field. And I wanted to move into a more management executive position. More specifically, I wanted to be the manager of our firm's office, the one I was working in. And then that opportunity opened up. All this is happening at the same time. I wasn't selected. I talked to the president of the company. He said, "Stu, you weren't even considered." Well, that was a setback. In my mind, I could have done that job. In their mind, they had me pegged as a technical person. So I struggled for a short time, and then by coincidence, another thing happened. An engineering dean's position opened up, and I was invited to apply for it. I did. I was hired, and I worked in that position for 8 years. Now I had that executive opportunity, that leadership opportunity that I had been looking for, and I learned so much about myself, about leading and managing, and about people. So after I finished that 8 years, I went into business on my own, and now I could draw on my government experience, my business experience, and my academic experience, and be in a position to offer useful advice, especially in non-technical areas, to mostly technical people. All that happened because of the perfect storm of all those things occurring at the same time. And what at the time seemed like a disaster was in effect a blessing.
That's a really inspiring story. You know, I read a book once. It's called Zen and the Art of Happiness, I think by a gentleman named Chris Prentice. And I'll never forget that in the beginning pages of the book, he kind of talked about the philosophy of Zen. And he said, everything that happens to you is the best possible thing that can happen to you. He said, it's a good way to go through life. So I always would tell my kids that. And when you get into a situation similar to exactly what you explained, if you have more of an approach of, listen, this has happened to me, good things are going to come from what's happening to me, even though it may not appear that way on the surface, it kind of helps you to frame it out that way and then look for new opportunities in a time when you normally wouldn't, you would be shut off to opportunities because you might be upset or down. So your story kind of reminded me of that quote, in that it brought you about other things that you probably wouldn't have seen.
Yeah. And it also illustrates the message in James Allen's book, We Become What We Think. If we get hung up on a setback, we're just going to get set back more. We need to try to see the opportunity in that setback. That takes a lot of discipline, but it almost always works. It's been my experience. Like you say, there's always something good there. Got to search for it a bit.
Well, Stu, thanks so much for sharing that information, that story with us, and for all that you've shared with us today. We really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thanks so much, Stu. And the book that Stu was referencing is called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, which was written in the early 1900s, but still has gotten great reviews up to today. I hope you enjoyed Stu's message, and I hope you like these types of videos because we put them out on a weekly basis. So please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Here, we are focused on helping engineers become better managers and better leaders. I'll see you next week.